All right, everybody, welcome to Matt Quirio's Cars. As you know, if you've ever watched my channel, I'm a big fan of the C4 Corvette for a lot of reasons. One of them being, you know, the bang for buck factor, but also, you know, I do aesthetically find them pretty to look at and very comfortable. So not only are they a bargain, but they're a fantastic car, which is a perfect combination for me. So one of the biggest topics I see in any of the Corvette groups or any discussion regarding C4 Corvettes is value. And one big topic is value projections. Now, a lot of people say, it's probably split 50-50. 50% of the people say these things are going up in value, hold on to it, get it while you can. Someone's selling, they say that's worth a lot of money, or your asking price is spot on, it's the buyers who are wrong. That's half the people. The other half say these aren't worth anything for many reasons. One of them being simply there is a lot of them left. They have been taken care of. A lot of these cars have not been driven much. It's not uncommon at all to find one with extremely low miles relative to its peers. And I guess for this specific model, being a 96 LT4, when I say peers, I suppose I'm referring to its competition in 96, which would be things like probably the, you know, the 300ZX twin turbo, the Supra turbo. I mean, look at the value of those. I can't say the NSX, those were a bit more money. Maybe the RX-7, the FD. All of those cars have appreciated in value quite substantially, and I suppose if you were to even go back just a couple years, but during the C4's run, you're looking at Fox body Mustangs, you're looking at IROC Camaros, third gens, GTAs, the Turbo Trans Ams, Grand Nationals, and a lot of other cars like that, which have all begun to appreciate in value quite substantially, especially, obviously, the Supra and, you know, the FDRX7, like I said. And you can still get a car like this for pretty cheap. This is an LT4 96. I've got 20 grand in it because I'm stupid, and that's my own fault because I've done everything to make it perfect, suspension wise and everything else. But this is a $15,000 car. So in the long run, are they going to go up in value? That's what everybody wants to know. Some people are bound and determined that these are, you know, they're going to go up, they're going to be worth a lot of money. And my honest opinion is yes and no. And it's yes and no because there's so many different variety here. I mean, you got a lot of variations, you got a lot of different configurations for a C4 Corvette as a whole. You know, you've got your 84s, you know, which really just aren't desirable. They made the most of them as a long production run, and nobody really likes crossfire injection. They're good cars, but they're probably the least valuable C4 for most people. Then you step into your tune port cars from 85 to 1991 with a facelift in there, and those ones, well, you know, they're great cars. I love them, I've owned them, but the tune port engine, it's really torquey, doesn't make a lot of power, and they made a lot of those. There's a lot of them. And then you've got the 92 to 96 LT1/LT4 cars, right? And that's your mainstream production coupled with the ZR1 from 90 to 95. So those are your few varieties. So we'll say 84s are on their own. You got your 85s to 91s, your tune port cars, and then you've got your 92 to 96 LT cars. You've got your ZR1. From there, you got your Callaway cars and your Lingenfelter cars. You got a lot of variety. And so what is and isn't collectible? I'm going to just break it down for you. This is the real story. Callaway cars, turbo cars, those are collectible now, and they will continue to be more so because of limited production, right? And when they were new, they were extremely desirable, extremely expensive cars that nobody had. You didn't see them in town, and if you had a Corvette, even at the time, a contemporary Corvette, a C4, you wanted a Callaway, right? So it was a car that was lusted after. And so that's a big driving factor in those. Not to mention, it's just cool. It's a twin turbo V8 in the 80s, man, and into the 90s. It's phenomenal. And so I would say those really are at the top of the list, above the ZR1 for me, in my opinion. A Callaway twin turbo, that's the holy grail. And there's a lot of variations, there's speedsters and everything, but I won't break that down. So I'm gonna say Callaway's absolutely collectible and will continue to appreciate. The next step down, I would say, is a break off between Lingenfelter cars and ZR1s. Lingenfelter cars come in so many varieties. They're cars that were touched by Lingenfelter. People bought them and had them modified, and you know, they have various engine packages, and none of them are crazy powerful, really. I mean, beyond 400 and 450 horsepower. I mean, pretty powerful, more powerful than a Callaway, arguably, but they're not numbered, and they're not, I don't know, they're kind of a niche thing. It's neat, it's cool, but it's not really blowing anybody's mind. But you know, they're cool. And really, like I said, tied for that's the ZR1. I think the ZR1 maybe even a little higher because of the exotic LT5 engine under the hood that had dual overhead camshafts and 32 valves dating all the way back to 1990. That was European stuff. And honestly, even now, we've only seen the second dual overhead cam 32 valve V8 in the newest Z06, the C8. So it was really ahead of its time. And that, I think that's the big part of the ZR1 and the performance, you know, the king of the hill legend status. ZR1s, yes, they're collectible. 100% now, and even more so. And in the last 10 years, they've gone up even more. People want them. Nice ones are out there, and they're scooping them up, and they're appreciating value, and that's great. And so working your way down. I'm really going to pair the LT1 cars and the TunePort cars together as a whole. If we're talking about like a 1985 TunePort Corvette or a 95, 96 LT1 car with an automatic transmission, I don't think that's a car that is ever going to be collectible. I think they're stagnant in value, and their value will only rise with inflation. The reason why I say that is because there's nothing particularly special about the car other than if you like the aesthetics, which is a matter of opinion. You know what I mean? There's nothing objectively good about an automatic C4. And I say that because when you're shopping Corvettes and you're shopping an automatic, well, really, you're probably just shopping generations. If you're buying a C4 automatic, chances are it's only because you don't want to spend the money for a C5 automatic or a C6 automatic or a C7 for that matter. You're simply buying an affordable car. It's all about price. That's my gathering from most automatic owners. So anyways, it doesn't really matter. It's not the owners, it's the car, it's the market. There will never be a demand for an automatic with 230 to 300 horsepower. There just won't be. So why I separate the automatic and the manual. I'm not a manual elitist, although I do enjoy them, as you may see on my vanity plate here, right? Can't help it. Manual Gearbox Preservation Society. Honestly, the manuals offer a much different experience. And the reason why I think the automatics will remain stagnant forever and the manuals will increase at least a slightly higher rate is because the number of manual vehicles built every year goes down, right? It's insane, especially a naturally aspirated manual vehicle. At this point, there are 7 in 2024, and it's the BRZ, it's the I believe the Nissan Versa, it's Porsche, and that's gonna be going away soon. Gosh, I can't even remember them all. There's so few. The Mustang, right? There's not hardly anything left. The Camaro and the Challenger are gone. The Corvette is never going to have 3 pedals again. It'll be a DCT. It'll be a DCT. At some time they might offer an actual torque converter automatic because that DCT has become so problematic. But a manual C4 will grow in value faster, hands down. It's all about having, I know some of you dog me. It's all about being able to row your own gears and have 3 pedals because it's an experience that new cars aren't offering. And it won't be long. 10 years, there'll only be a couple manuals out there, and honestly, in sports cars, it'll be very, very negligible numbers because of performance. You know, an automatic or a DCT offers better straight line performance, and specs sell cars. So manual transmission TunePort cars and manual transmission LT1s and LT4s will appreciate, I think, at probably a similar rate. The LT4 may be slightly beyond, but not a lot. But the ZR1, yeah, absolutely, that's an appreciate. Manual car, Revy, unique, it's got a story behind it, the king of the hill legend status, Yep. But I'm sorry, guys, and you can roast me and you can be mad in the comments, but your automatic transmission C4 Corvette is never going to be valuable. It's not going to increase beyond the rate of inflation. They've been stagnant for years. I mean, years. 20 years. You know, the nicest LT1 automatic in 2004 was worth 13 or 14 grand, and honestly, I think it's the same today. And with inflation, they've only continued to depreciate. So take that as you will. Let me know in the comments what you think about the values of C4 Corvettes. Do you think they're going up? Do you think they're going down? Do you think it depends on the model? Which model do you think is going to appreciate at the highest rate? You know, and which one isn't? I'm really curious, because it's a debate all the time, but my feelings have never really changed. Before I loved these cars, before I drove them, and after I drove them, it's the same opinion. The automatic cars, they're just gonna sit where they're at, and that's okay, because they're out there to be driven and enjoyed. But what I'm seeing now is a lot of young kids are just ratting these things out. You know what I mean? They can get them for nothing. They drift them, they beat the shit out of them, they build vet carts, they put silly wraps on them with anime shit on the back that uses the taillights as eyeballs. You've all seen the picture, you know what I'm talking about. And so maybe if enough of them get consumed, they'll grow in value. But there's just so many nice ones relative to the Fox bodies, the Grand Nationals, all the cars I've mentioned, Supras, 300ZXs. There's so few of those relative to the condition. You know, nice examples, they've gone up. But the C4, there's just too many nice ones. Every old guy put it away with low mileage, and they're not in short supply. And I don't see it happening anytime soon. But again, if you want to buy one, you want to hold value or maintain it, if that's a goal, which it's not my goal. This is not an investment for me. I've done more in it than it's worth. A manual car, it's all about the transmission. If you're flipping cars, I've seen guys do it. They think they're going to flip an automatic C4 Corvette, and they lose their ass, or it's for sale forever, because if it's not the cheapest automatic C4, it'll sit forever. But all right, guys, that's my take, that's my rant. Let me know what you think. Which ones are going to go up? Which ones are going to go down? Are they ever going to be worth anything? Also, I'm in the process of converting my car to red interior. Got my lower panels, got my door panels. 250 bucks on Marketplace. I got to get some red seats here, and I'm debating if I'm going to do the carpet or leave it black, Grand Sport style. But anyways, neither here nor there. That's another video. Let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I a dick? It's fine either way. And most of all, thanks for watching, and have fun.